right, we will go ahead and jump into things here. Thanks for joining us, everyone, for our conclusion of our adaptive series. Today, we're talking about adaptive self-care. We thought it was a great time of year to highlight for the winter months coming up, as well as the holidays. It's often, self-care is kind of overlooked when having a physical disability, so we wanted to dive into that topic. So I am Kelly Berger. I'm going to be hosting today along with our outreach team, and Avery Roberts here, my co-host. So just a couple of housekeeping things for today's discussion. We'll be talking about wellness and well-being tips, mindfulness and positive mental health, and we'll also hear from our community members on their experiences and also have a formal Q&A at the end. So just a reminder, this webinar is being recorded and it will be available on YouTube afterwards. We do have the chat feature, so please feel free to chat in the portal there, as well as the Q&A. We will have, for our Q&A at the end, go ahead and get your questions in, and we will have our speakers handle those. So, all right. We're super excited for our all-star cast. We have all disability community members, which we are really excited about. So we have KEISHA GREAVES from Girls Chronically Rock. We have Amber BOSSELMAN from Amber BOSSELMAN Coaching. We have Ross LANNON, a disability and blogger. And we have LAINIE ISHBIA from Trendable. And all right, we are going to kick it off with KEISHA, and she's going to talk about wellness and well-being tips. So KEISHA, go ahead.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. My name is KEISHA, and I'm the CEO and president of Girls Chronically Rock Clothing. So what today? I don't have a presentation. I guess I'm kind of boring. But for some self-wellness tips of something that I had to learn over time is just honestly having to rely on aids itself can be a challenge. I am someone that was diagnosed with muscular dystrophy in my early 20s. And so I was a person that was able to do things independent and do things on my own. And then it's like now that I have to rely on personal care attendants, it can be challenging because I like things a certain way. I have like an OCD, like neat freak, but then I'm also a Virgo. So I know some Virgos can be very, tentative and just, like things like to perfection, as they say. And so just like relying on getting deodorant, like now before I used to use like the secret roll-on deodorant before I had AIDS to just put on. But that was a challenge. So then I started using the spray deodorant. I thought that was a lot easier to help with my hand and, I want to smell good. And then also just like different challenges for me, since I'm in fashion, of just adaptive clothing definitely means a lot to me, because as I started to get dressed and as my muscular dystrophy started to progress, just getting dressed became a challenge. People don't get like just putting on a t-shirt, putting on a jacket. I felt like I was just finished running the Boston Marathon. And so just putting that on, I'm like, this has to be a better way. And so, of course, when I was in school, I wasn't diagnosed then with muscular dystrophy. So adaptive fashion wasn't really taught then. But that was something I had to learn and kind of do things on my own. So I started hacking my own t-shirts with like cutting it, making magnetic snaps, adding a zipper on the sewing machine to just make it easier to take on and off. So I love wearing my graphic t-shirts. So I definitely had to hack those to make them more easier to put on, not just for myself, but for my aides. My home health aides just noticed a difference with just some of my adaptive clothing of helping them. They're like, this is so much easier. We feel like we're not hurting you getting dressed, putting on a t-shirt, putting on your jacket. So adaptive fashion is definitely something I love. I'm obsessed. I'm passionate about. I tell people I live and breathe fashion. And so that is something I'm trying to, just bring into the fashion industry, breaking it in with adaptive fashion. And I'm glad like designers now like Tommy Hilfiger, Kohl's and Target now have an adaptive line, but I don't want it to stop there. I want to continue to create not just adaptive clothing, but I have so many ideas of just want to create adaptive because I'm in a wheelchair 24/7. And I'm like, you know what? It would be so cool if we had this of, sometimes my butt like kind of like, drops down on the wheelchair. So I need like that boost. And it's like, I think that would be so cool if a feature was on a wheelchair so that can happen. But the tips I have is like, I pretty much stay with the Hoyer underneath me. And so my PCAs will just kind of, help me get a boost up to get my bum into position. As far as the hair, my hair, that has become a challenge over time of just getting my arm up to brush it. And so that's why I cut my hair. but I honestly say I love it. I love the short hair. It's more convenient, easier for me. And I just have my aides like rub some stuff in it, and I kind of tell them like how I want it styled. And so again, I still have a particular way. Yes, I would love to have done it myself, but this is the world I now live in. I'm glad to be a part of this awesome disability community. But living with muscular dystrophy, I tell others like this is a challenge each and every day. I wake up not knowing, what my body's gonna feel like. What am I gonna be too tired to do this, to get dressed? Am I gonna be able to take a shower? So I kind of just have to take it each day at a time because this muscular dystrophy has control over me. But I just take it each day at a time, and fashion and everything, packing my clothes, making them adaptive, make me definitely feel excited, inspired, and motivated. And so I feel like I'm learning something new every day, but I have more ideas of things that, I want to make more adaptive, more inclusive, with not just fashion, but overall everything, because people don't understand our everyday challenge and our everyday struggle. But yeah, I'm always looking for new tips and things like that. But I feel like for me, I don't know it all. So I learn along the way as well. So, but yeah, just getting dressed for me has been a definitely a challenge. And I like to bring like body spray with me in my bag to kind of like spray if I'm going out to an event or things like that. And, just make like sure I smell good. But I'm happy with the short hair that I don't have to just deal with the long hair. So I love my short hair, and that definitely has been convenient for me of just having to just get up and not have to deal with long hair like I used to. But yeah, that's kind of a little bit about me. But yes, I'm Keisha from Girls Chronically Rock Clothing.
All right. Thanks, Keisha, for sharing. All super helpful and insightful. All right. Up next, we are going to hear from Amber Bosselman. She's going to go over some mindfulness and positive mental health. Go ahead, Amber.
Thanks so much, Kelly. Friends, it is so fun to be here with you today because I have some visual aids I want to use in our time together today. But as was mentioned, I am Amber from Amber Bosselman Coaching, CEO and founder of this amazing business because, as was mentioned today, there is not a lot of help for mental wellness, specifically for people with disabilities. So that's what I do. I help people with disabilities overcome obstacles and increase their independence. And I was so pumped when I saw that Keisha was here today because she talked all about kind of the physical aspects of your care, how to stay looking fresh, looking clean, feeling wonderful in your body. I want to teach you how to do all of that in your mind. I'm going to focus on some self care and wellness with regards to mental and emotional aspects. Okay. So, first of all, I want you guys to breathe with me for a minute. Okay? I want you to close your eyes. If you're in a space where you feel comfortable, go ahead and maybe lean back in your wheelchair, relax, find a restful place for your arms to be. Okay, close your eyes and take a couple of nice deep breaths with me. In through your nose and out through your mouth. If you're on some sort of breathing machine, a ventilator, a BiPAP, a CPAP, let that machine breathe for you. Lean into that. As you're taking deep breaths, I want you to focus on the sensation of your lungs expanding and contracting. Just focus on that movement that happens all day, that we become kind of blind to. Feel that movement in your body. Now, I myself have a disability as well. I have spinal muscular atrophy, which has a lot of similarities to CMD. And so, all of us, I think, here have some sort of compromised respiratory function. And often we're taught that kind of our lungs are a triggering thing. I can remember going to a lot of pulmonary function tests as a kid, and as soon as someone would tell me to breathe, my heart rate rises. I get all nervous. I'm like, are my lungs strong enough? Are they big enough? So I'm here to teach you a little meditation technique to overcome that, okay? So as you're taking these nice, intentional breaths with me, I want you to think the thought, my lung capacity is perfect for me. Okay, think that thought in your mind a couple times. My lung capacity is perfect for me. My lungs give me everything that I need. I love that you all are breathing with me. Thank you for doing this. You're giving a gift to your body and your mind right now. So now that we've focused on the breath, keep your eyes closed for a minute more. Trust me, I've got you. I'm taking care of you. I want you to just scan through your body, starting at the top of your head, moving down your neck, shoulders, your arms, and your chest. Just checking in with the body to see how things are. I want you to feel where your body makes contact with your seat. Feel that backrest. Feel the pressure of the seat beneath you as gravity gently comes up to meet you. I want you to feel the sensation of your feet on the floor or your footrest, whatever they are resting on. For me, it's a footrest. Feel that. These are sensations that we are in contact with all day. We forget. What we're doing is we're reconnecting the body with the mind and the mind with the body, saying, hey, check in with each other. Good. Take another nice deep breath with me in through the nose, out through the mouth. Letting any tension just flow out, okay? We don't need it. We're here for a wonderful hour together as friends to take care of ourselves. Go ahead and open your eyes, come back to the room, come back to the space. Welcome back to reality. Just check in with yourself. If you feel like it, put one word in the chat of how you feel different now after taking, literally, guys, that was like 3 minutes that I just guided you through a brief meditation. Throw a word in the chat to tell me how you feel. I feel more calm. I feel more centered. I'm still super pumped and excited to be here with you today, but there's like a little bit of steadiness beneath all of that now. Let me check in the chat, see what we've got coming in. Calmer. Thank you, Danielle. Yeah, so good. Okay. We're going to keep moving right along because I want to give you my top 3 tools for you today. The number 1 tool that I want to give you is what I just took you through, and that is meditation. Now, I think, friends, there are a lot of misconceptions around meditation. I think we have to like sit cross-legged on the floor and go like, and like clear your mind of all thoughts. That is not what meditation needs to be. I prefer guided meditations like what I just walked you through, where I'm listening to a voice gently prompting me and guiding me for how to stay centered. Meditation's not about emptying your mind, it's about allowing thoughts to flow through you. Okay, so some tools for meditation. An app that we can all use is Headspace. That's my preferred app. That's what I use to meditate every day. There's a free version that can give you kind of basic guided meditations to get you started. I used the free version for like a full year before I decided to pay any money and go into a bigger version. So I'd highly recommend Headspace. I think you guys have probably heard of Calm. They have a lot of meditations, also kind of just some self-talk things. Happify is also a fun app if you're looking to kind of increase your mental strength. It focuses a lot on thoughts, and they've kind of gamified it so that you can learn how to kind of increase your awareness around your thoughts. All of these versions have free, all these apps, sorry, have free versions that you can go and download right now. They're all wonderful. I would just pick one and start. Or if you already have an app on your phone, open it up. Just get back into some sort of meditation as often as you need it. The second tool I want to offer is journaling. Now again, journaling, there can be some tricky aspects of that when it comes to our disability. So I want you to make it work for you. I love to journal with pen and paper. I have enough hand mobility and dexterity and strength that I can do that. I can't write for very long, but I just need about 5 minutes to get my thoughts down on paper. If that's not accessible, don't stop there, okay? Dictating with a lot of the voice dictation softwares out there is a beautiful way to slow down your mind and get those thoughts on paper, whether that's the computer screen or your phone. Also, I'd encourage you to make some videos. Turn on your camera and just talk to the video. Make a little video blog about how you're feeling. Let that be your journal entry. Also using art, if you want to just get some color out, get pens and colored pencils and crayons and just maybe put some color on the paper that reflects how you're feeling or some shapes that describe how your thoughts are moving. My point is, it doesn't matter how you journal. It just matters that you're using some sort of tool to get your thoughts out of your brain and down on paper. My final tool, my friends, is to invest in yourself. Okay. So there might be some money behind this. This might mean you pay for one of the apps. This might mean you go out and buy a beautiful new journal or a new set of pens. This might mean you go and work with a life coach, somebody like me. I want you to find a conscious way to invest in yourself, whether that's $2 on a new pen or whatever it may be. You are worth investing in. And it's okay if self-care takes a little bit of money. Okay? It's so fun to be here with you today that I wanted to share a little bit of my story to show you that these tools really work. Okay? I used to feel like I was trapped in my mind. I used to feel like my thoughts would spiral and I didn't have control because my body was getting weaker and life was just hard. Life is hard with a disability. I think we can all agree on that. But when I found these tools, when I found life coaching, when I found meditation, my life changed. And suddenly I began creating things that I'd only dreamed of. One of these is represented here. I was just married this summer. In August, I married the love of my life, Christopher, and we've been married for 3 blissful months now. And friends, that is a reality that I didn't know was possible before I started managing my mind. I mentioned that I now own a business. I own my own life coaching practice. It seemed so intimidating when I first started, but I practiced self-care and emotional wellness every day, and it began yielding amazing results. So, it doesn't matter where you are. Wherever you are right now is the perfect place to start. I'd encourage you to pick one thing that you hear from the webinar today. Maybe it was KEISHA's trick to just keep body spray on you so you feel fresh and smelling good wherever you go. Maybe you're going to start journaling after my portion today. We've got lots more good information coming. Just pick one and actually start implementing. As a final gift to you, as just a thank you for welcoming me into your community and having me here today, I want to give everybody here a free one-on-one session with me to improve your mindfulness. This QR code here will take you directly to my Calendly where you can just book a session, a whole hour, completely free, no commitment afterwards. We can tackle things like your morning routine. We've talked about journaling. Let's deep dive into what journaling looks like for you and how you can actually start using it. I can help you improve your self-confidence. Remember how I said I felt stuck inside my mind? If you feel stuck inside your mind, if you feel like your thoughts are just spiraling, come book a free session with me and I will help you work through that. If you're on a mobile device and the QR code, I know you have to have a camera to scan your QR code. My email is down below, amberbosselmancoaching@gmail.com. I'll put that in the chat here in a minute. Shoot me an email and we can book that free session. Just a little gift to say thank you and to help you continuing move forward in case you feel stuck on your self-care. So thanks all for having me. I'll turn it back to you, Kelly.
All right, great. Thanks so much, Amber. All right, next you're going to hear from Ross. He's going to talk about his disability lifestyle vlog. And yeah, go ahead and take it away, Ross.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. Again, thank you so much. Similar to the others today, thank you so much for having me involved in this. I feel like I've maybe got a little bit of the short straw here following KEISHA and Amber, because they absolutely smashed it. Especially I was getting a little bit too into the relaxation and the breathing techniques then. There was a moment where I was like, right, Ross, pull yourself together because you've got to start presenting in a minute. But I just want to sort of start off by giving a little introduction to myself, let you guys know a little bit about me, and why I guess I've been invited to be involved in this today, which is really cool. So I've been invited here today to talk a little bit more about being a member of the disability community, talking about my experience through my work and the platform that I sort of created, my blog, to get me here really, and what I get up to. I think between us, the three of us today are hopefully covering quite a lot of ground. For example, you know, like KEISHA, they're talking about sort of, all of us are talking about self-care, but I guess from different aspects. KEISHA, they're talking about sort of from the sort of physical body aspect, and by talking, you know, from the mental well-being and through the mind. And I guess today I'm going to be talking a little bit more about the environment and the community. So yeah, I'm going to be touching on some sort of adaptive products and sort of adapted devices and things that help me with my everyday sort of living routine, and sharing some general sort of self-care tips as well, things that I've sort of learned along the way from a male's perspective today as well. So I'll jump back to my introduction now. So my name is Ross LANNON. I'm 30 years old and I'm from Cornwall in the UK. I'm right down in the southwest. You could probably tell from my accent, to be fair. And yeah, I'm a lifestyle and disability blogger. I'm also a radio presenter as well. So I've got a real sort of passion for media and sort of being that sort of role model. I just got that real passion to be sort of putting myself out there and really sort of trying to achieve something within the media. So that's something I'm really sort of striving for. I also, similar to Amber, have a condition called spinal muscular atrophy. I have SMA type 3. And yeah, when I was asked to be involved in this, the really nice thing about it is, you know, SMA kind of falls under a similar umbrella to muscular dystrophy. And one of my best friends in particular, she also has CMD. So when I was asked to be involved in this today, it almost felt really fitting, because not only does one of my best friends have CMD, I also met her online through the disability community, which is something that is really important to me. So yeah, despite my disability, I'm constantly striving for independence and sort of positive well-being. A lot of what I do on my blog is all about showing disability in a positive light. I would much rather talk about what we can do rather than focusing on the negative and what we can't do, which is often portrayed within the media. So yeah, I live as independent a life as possible. I'm very fortunate that I've got my own sort of independent home, which I live in with support of carers. I also work and I socialise. I drive an adapted vehicle, which hopefully, if I've got time at the end as well, I will share you. I've got a little slideshow of images, which I can share you that as well. And I have a dog, which is like the most important thing. I'm a dog dad. I'm a very proud dog dad. I'll show you photos of him at the end as well. So yeah, I started my blog. It's called A Life on Wheels. I started it back in 2017, just as a way of me to really connect with the disability community. I never had the confidence to really put myself out there on video to start with. So I thought, you know, if I could just start by writing down some of my feelings, some of my experiences, and putting that out there. And it's amazing how much over time my confidence grew and my blog sort of developed, my audience grew. And yeah, here I am now, and I absolutely love it. I get to work with some really great brands. And just, again, it's showing disability in a positive light. And the amount of people that say to me now, like, they'll go to somewhere and they'll be like, oh, I actually take note of the disability access now, and things that I, you know, able-bodied friends would never have looked at before. So I like to think I've drummed that into people. I share a lot of access reviews and just general lifestyle stories. I like to think of myself as a bit of a cheeky chap, so I'll always have a bit of a laugh. There'll probably be an inappropriate joke in there somewhere along the line, but I think that just shows that I'm human, and yeah, that's what it's all about. And through the blog, that has opened so many doors for me. You know, even to be invited to be involved in something like this today is really cool. And it was through the blog that led me to the radio work. I see in the chat there, Pamela says that she was a radio presenter as well, which is really great. Yeah, the blog opened that door for me. Somebody followed me and said, come and give this a go. We think you might like it. And I went for it and I haven't looked back since. So yeah. One thing I want to talk about today is about some of the adaptive devices that help me with my day-to-day life, basically. I'm very routine based. I don't really like change, but if it wasn't for certain bits of equipment and adaptive devices, I wouldn't be able to live such an independent life, which is what I really do strive for. And that's what is part of my self-care. I'm constantly striving to be as independent as possible because that's what makes me happy. So there's a little video which I'm going to share my screen with you now. It's just a very short video, almost like a bit of a house tour. So if you're a little bit nosy, I think you might like this because I love having a little nose around people's houses. I'm just gonna play this for you and show you some of the adaptive devices that really help me to be independent with my routine.
Today, I'm going to give you a little house tour showing you some of my favourite electrical gadgets that help me to live independently. I moved out of my family home in 2015 and was one of the lucky few to rent an accessible bungalow. First up, I have this power assisted door which enables me to come and go as I please. It also has a push button on the inside which helps me to close the door and keep it locked as well. Inside the kitchen, I have a tilting kettle which helps me to make drinks nice and safely for all my friends and family. I also have an electric kitchen blind which helps me to keep some privacy by using this controller here. It also helps to keep all those peeping toms out. Now without power, I wouldn't be able to charge my electric wheelchair and use the riser function here to reach all my snacks from the fridge. Moving on to the bedroom, I have an electric profiling bed which raises up and down as well as tilting back and forth. It also raises the feet and the backrest separately. In the bathroom, I have a powered air-elect toilet which helps with my transfers and gives me extra independence. In the shower, I also have a body dryer which you'll be able to hear in the next video.
Okay, there we go. So yeah, that was just a little video to show you an insight into some of the gadgets that are available out there that can really help you with your independence and your sort of self-care. In particular, at the end there, you saw that body dryer, which for me, you know, as a male, you know, you and any of us really, you know, regardless of your gender, we all want to maintain as much dignity as possible and independence. And that body dryer in particular has really helped me. Obviously, I need certain help with certain aspects of personal care, but that helps me to maintain my dignity, to sort of dry me. And you can see from some of the other items in the house there, such as my electric front door or my bed, these things really help me with my everyday living routine. So there's just a few recommendations. And if anybody sort of wants any more sort of advice on that or to see them, you know, up close or personal, feel free to reach out to me and I can show you them in more detail as well. And like I said, I also drive an adapted vehicle, which has just opened my world to so many new opportunities as well. I was asked to sort of touch on today of how I think self-care might differ, you know, from a male perspective between males and females, of how it may differ. And I think it's really important to know that self-care, it really does vary for everyone from person to person. I don't think there's any specific, you know, answer that can solve everything. But I guess one of the main differences as a male is like there's an assumption, you know, traditionally society always sort of there's an assumption that males are, we're scared to let down our walls. You know, we don't want to break down those barriers. We're less likely to express vulnerability. And whilst in some situations, yes, that is true. There are a lot of men out there who are scared to talk about their emotional well-being. But that's not the case for everyone. So that is one of the main differences, is never just assume that just because I'm a male, I'm not, you know, I am able to talk about my emotions. And again, the support systems around, a lot of women may be more likely to speak to their friends and family about something, whereas men almost a lot of the time feel like we have to put on this tough exterior, when that's not always the case. When it comes to self-care itself, a lot of us, the activities involved in self-care can differ between genders as well. There's an assumption that men will prioritize exercise, or they like sports or gaming, but that's not always the case either. And that's what a lot of what I do to break down those barriers, because I love just a chill night in. Like, I am down for a bit of a spa treatment, get the cucumber on my eyes. It doesn't bother me at all. I love a bit of me time, chilling in the warm hot water bottle, blanket. Why not? My self-care is a takeaway with my dog, TV on, in the warm. That's a bit of self-care for me. So yeah, I guess in terms of tips that I can share with you today, I guess I just recommend taking some time out for yourself. It might sound a little bit cliche, but it's so important for us to just remember to take a bit of me time. And however you like to spend that time, just prioritize yourself. I made it my New Year's resolution this year to do more of what makes me happy. And that is something I'm really trying to do. So yeah, spend time with the people who give you good energy, you know, really put that effort into those social connections that give you joy. A few other tips for self-care is try and establish a routine. I find that really works with me. I know Amber mentioned the sort of more practical techniques there as well, using the Headspace app, and that's definitely something I've used in the past as well. And just a general acceptance, really. Sometimes just accepting the fact that your mental health does matter, and sometimes you have to prioritize yourself. And yeah, I think being a blogger and within the disability community, it's definitely helped me connect with more like-minded people. You know, when we're all going through similar things, it helps you connect more. And I trust the people that I connect with online because, you know, I love a recommendation. So I feel like as people with disabilities, we trust each other's opinions because we're living this experience together. So if someone recommends to me a product that has really helped them with their life, I'm gonna trust them more so than just any random influencer that is trying to flog something online. So yeah, I'm probably talking a little bit too much now, so I will probably call it a day there. I will just share a couple of quick photos with you at the very end here, a few pictures to scan through to end my talk. I had to end with the dog. Of course, this is Ralphie, my little 5-year-old cockapoo. Here's some photos of me just doing my thing at the radio, some various events that I've been a part of hosting, which I absolutely love. Various bits, getting out and about within the community, interviewing various different guests. If anybody wants to check out the things I do online, you can just visit alifeonwheels.co.uk or just search at Ross Lannon on social media. And yeah, like I said, a lot of it is just trying to be positive and show people what we can do rather than what we can't. It's a little screenshot from my blogs page. Here's a little look at driving adaptions as well. I drive with hand controls, which is sort of, again, it's really changed my life, my independence, self-care wise. You know, nothing makes me happier than jumping in the car, driving to the beach with a book or something like that. And if you're not able to have the strength to do that, it's just getting out and about. If you've got a team that can drive you somewhere, go for it, get out, do what makes you happy. And here's just a picture of me chilling. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening to me today. I hope you've enjoyed, and I will pass back now to Kelly.
All right. Wonderful, Roz. Thanks so much. All right. So our next guest is LAINIE ISHBIA. So she unfortunately could not join us live, but she has a video for us to watch here. So we will hear from LAINIE now.
My name is LAINIE ISHBIA, and I am the founder of Trendable, and Embrace It. I was born with Charcot-Marie tooth, which is actually a form of muscular dystrophy. It's I have type 1A, which is inherited, slowly progressive, and affects my peripheral nerves. And I wear leg braces on both legs. As I've gotten older, I have challenges with fine motor. I have zero pincher grip, but my disabilities are for the most part invisible. So if you saw me walking down the street, you most likely, unless you're a neurologist and know the term wasting, or a patient, wouldn't know, that I have disabilities. So I got into this world of being a disability educator and influencer through this website that I created. In general, I am all about, self-care and, and self-care doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be going and getting a massage or, going to get a facial, although those things are nice. Self-care is really about, being able to do things independently that feel good and make you feel good, whether it's emotionally, mentally, physically. And so it's awesome that in the almost 6 years since I, launched Trendable, that this adaptive marketplace exists. So just 6 years ago, adaptive wasn't a term that was everywhere. And there certainly weren't inclusive products being sold at CVS or, if they were on Zappos, it was like no one knew about it. And so it's really cool nowadays that people are recognizing that, first of all, people with disabilities are the largest minority group in the world. And we are the minority group that most people will, eventually join in some way or another. So it's awesome that these adaptive products are being sold to the masses, and they're really universally designed, right? So the best products are those that everyone finds to be useful. Okay, so my life is really about just, hacks and things that are easy for me to use and quick. I think a lot of people, and men, women, whoever wears makeup these days, I think because things are hard, people who might love makeup don't apply it because they think they can't do it well, or that they're going to mess up because of fine motor weakness or grip, etc. And the last thing that you want to do in this life, in my opinion, is give up the things that make you feel good because of your disability. So I use a lot of tools every day that some are created for people with disabilities, and some are just hacks that I've used before these tools existed. So, okay, for feet, okay, going and getting a pedicure is not fun when you wear leg braces. Those of you who out there know, maybe you're a wheelchair user, it is not fun to go to a pedicure. Although I do go occasionally, it's a lot of work to communicate what I can and can't do and what I need. And I do get a lot of calluses because of leg braces. And so a simple thing like this, which is an electric file, I use regularly because it smooths my feet and does a lot to prevent the hard, big calluses. Something that I know a lot of my followers find helpful in the shower is a long-handled razor extension. I included that on this list for you guys of some things that are really cool. So basically, you just take your own razor and attach it to this long, attachment, and for bending over, it eliminates that need. And it's much easier to hold on to this longer, easy grip razor than a small one. And let's see, what are some everyday stuff? So I never curled my lashes because I found that those the traditional lash curler was very difficult to use. But now Revlon made this really cool, adaptive, universally designed eyelash curler. And I'm moving my hand pretty quickly, but you can see it's like has this touch grip. It's wider. It's much easier to grip. And so this is really cool. So I've been using this on a regular basis. Another one of those awesome tools that they also made, this is through CVS, but I also like Revlon's as well, is this is a cuticle cutter. And, you know, you can see it has this wide grip. This is something that, you know, for people who use one hand, perhaps have, you know, tremors, weakness, it's much easier to work with. Let me see. I use this every day because although they do make many shirts now with magnetic buttons and you don't necessarily need to wear a button down shirt, not all the shirts I like, you know, are adaptive. Here's another tool that I use, and you know, I know there's both men and women, and you know, people who need, like, this is for your facial hair, and it's easy for me to hold, and it doesn't cut me like some of them. So another thing, I mean, very simple, right? So when you have fine motor, ripping little pieces of, you know, little Q-tips and little cotton swabs are difficult. I use these big round oval ones, which you can get at any drugstore, but they're the bigger ones. And this is how I take off my makeup. I correct any mistakes that I might make with this larger held one. I don't know, I didn't show this. Oh, this is really cool too. This is, you know, this is Revlon's as well. And this is an eyebrow tweezer, and you see how it has the texture for your grip right here. It's an awesome tool. And then in terms of like products, one of the hacks that I use regularly is I attach rubber bands to slippery bottles. So like perfume, as an example, when you put some rubber bands on that bottle, it makes it have that texture that they designed right here, right? So it's less slippery because I drop everything. And then in terms of makeup, that's something I use every day. I look for pump bottle stuff. So I do not try to do any little caps or put them back on or take them off or put them on. I use pumps and a lot of different products. I have like my favorites. I love the lip glosses by Buxom because they're long and they're easy to hold. I like the moisturizer through a company called Drunk Elephant. And by the way, all of these have imitation that are almost exact on Amazon and other places. So you don't have to spend, you know, $50 on a moisturizer if you don't want to. But the idea is it's a pump and it's easier to apply. So those are some of the tools. Oh, and I also brought these because a lot of people love them. And this is a company called Guide Beauty. I think Selma Hayek is collabing with them. And they've come up with, so these were like applying eyeliner. But what's cool is that this brush, you can see, you're holding it like this, the applicator. So it has some grip. And now they've come out on Guide Beauty with this same technology for makeup brushes as well. Getting dressed, I put loops in hard to grip type pants. I have, oh, here's something. I'm wearing these necklaces, right? And all my jewelry, I have them converted into, so like even this little one right here, I have magnets, very strong magnets attached to all the jewelry. And on Amazon, you can easily get these magnetic clasp extenders or replacements and have someone help you put it on. I take it to a craft store, literally where I buy them, and I have them put it on. So all of my jewelry is easy to get on and off with magnets. In terms of bracelets, I only buy, you can see all my stacks. I have a lot of bracelets and they're all stretchy and there's tons of them now everywhere, which is really cool. And, you know, I mix and match like nice ones that have real stuff on them with cheap ones. And then with earrings, which is, I have difficulty with posts and I would not even attempt to put in a post. I would not be able to grip that. So I look for earrings that have a lever back, and a lever back just means that it easily can pull back. And then once you kind of figure out how to put that on your ear, it just snaps in place, which I find easier to put on. I'm on social media. I'm following a lot of the companies that are designing, and I'm also working with some of them through our workshops and whatnot. So please visit Trendable, visit our social media pages, because that's what I do, is I inform other people about, you know, new things that are coming out and that things that might enhance their lives and help them to look and feel their best.
All right, we are coming up on our Q&A portion, and so please put your questions in the chat, or you can use the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen, and we will have our speakers get to those. So,
all right, we'll get going here. Keisha and Amber, do you know of a tool you could take to the hair salon where they could wash your hair while sitting upright in your chair?
I can answer that. I know for me, now I have my aides wash my hair, but what I actually did was bought one of those, you know, the sinks they have at the hair salons. So now I can wash my hair here. And with the wheelchair, not too sure what wheelchair you may have, but I have a ProMobile. So the thing is, it's able to recline back, which is a plus. So I don't have to get out. Same thing with the dentist now, which I love, because I'm like, I can't get out my wheelchair. So I'm not too sure again which wheelchair you have, but I bought one of those from Amazon, the sinks. So now I'm like, I have my aides wash my hair for me and I'm able to just tilt back and it feels relaxed. But I do remember when I used to go to the salon, they were able to remove their chair for you to recline back. So definitely ask them about that. I hope I answered the question. But yeah, that was help for me. But I do remember when I used to go to the salon that they were able to move it so I can recline back so they can wash my hair. So I don't see why they can't do that, but yeah, let me know.
Tools I'd like to add on to that, Keisha, is guys, again, this doesn't have to be complicated. Pillows. I literally take pillows with me to the salon because I have a very short torso. And so even though I am able to transfer to their chair, when I lean back, my head doesn't make it into the bowl. So I take pillows that I just sit on so that I can then recline back in the chair. Also, this is old news. Headrests on your wheelchair. Oh, you can't see it because of the background. The headrest is behind me on my wheelchair. A lot of the headrests now can fold back. And so, like Keisha was talking about, you can recline in your wheelchair, and you can also get a headrest that has a reclining, or a headrest that has like a little joint that you can flip back so that the headrest isn't in the way either. But just take pillows. Take whatever you need to be comfy.
Yeah, that's a good point. I forgot about the headrest does come off. That is, they're like, oh yeah, that's in the way. So they learn now to take that off. So that can do. I think
I know, same here. All right, for washing your hair when your arms can't get up that high to reach, and then any tips for wiping properly. Anyone can take
Who
that.
wants to take it? I don't mind jumping in on this
okay.
one.
You go ahead.
Yeah, why not? I guess for me, it's not being afraid to ask for help. I think sometimes when you're in the shower and you're washing your hair, there are ways to still keep your modesty covered. You know, we've all got towels and things and I'm not afraid to ask. And as you guys saw in the house video, in terms of like drying and things, the shower dryer has really helped me in keeping some of that dignity and being able to dry without having to rely on other people to, you know, get in those places. And as well as that, a really simple tip as well is I use a hair dryer for like all body parts. It's not just the hair. Like when I get out of the shower, I literally use a hair dryer for my body because I just find it so much easier than having to, you know, wipe with a towel and get in those places. So, and I'm always cold, so I love the heat of a hair dryer. So that's probably my little tip.
Yeah, I'll add on. I love the blow dryer idea. I love that. Because I'm the type, I'm always cold as well. I would say for me, you know, I do have to rely on aides so they're able to dry me. But before I did have them, you know, it was a struggle to just reach certain places and with the towel. So honestly, I'm like, when it dries, but I totally get it. Like it's hard to get those places when drying, you know, coming out the shower. As far as washing the hair, a lot of people don't know, if you ask your physical therapist or doctor, there are kind of those reaches. I used to have one with the body scrub for body washing, but then there's also one for the hair. So if like, you know, just put a little shampoo on that and then able to reach, kind of like, example, if you can see this back scratcher kind of like, this is my like best friend right here. But there's one like this for the shower. And a lot of people don't know if you request it, because I didn't know. I actually found out when I went to the Abilities Expo if you wash your hair, because I know I used to scratch mines. And so I don't know if you want to use the different back scratchers I got from Amazon, but definitely request and ask like either physical therapist or doctor, but they're, and the insurance should be covering those because they covered mines, but there is something to reach for when you're washing your hair and for showering. And I want to say they honestly have a comb too. Obviously, I don't need one now, but they did remember having a comb. So definitely ask. And that's the thing that makes me sad. It's like, until you ask these questions, like they're not going to say anything. So I had to find out through the Abilities Expo. But yeah, definitely find out, because that is something that's out there. And of course, Amazon is my best friend. So definitely check out Amazon. But those would be my tips.
It also looks like Amber just put an Etsy link in the chat, so I'll be sure to put that in the YouTube description, so that people can access that extra long brush to scrub your head in the shower. Thanks, Amber. So the next question is, who can we contact to change the so-called accessible public spaces? Most toilets are too low for wheelchair users or MD affected individuals. Grab bars are mispositioned. Shower controls or sprayers are too high, etc. Yeah, I know. I think we all think that we need to be thought of when involved in change. I guess from the Cure CMD and advocacy side of things, our legislative advocacy team is always looking to be involved in that change and kind of give our own personal experiences as affected individuals and a part of the disabled community. So I guess we're always kind of working towards that. Obviously, the process is very slow. We're not only working towards kind of public policy, but even just awareness in general with our legislators. Rachel just put the link to the team page in the chat. But I guess from that's kind of like from the Cure CMD side what we're doing, but I don't know if any of our speakers have any thoughts on that side as well.
I think for me, that's a great question. That is something I'm advocating for each and every day. I live in Massachusetts, the city of Cambridge. I am now on the Persons Board for People Commission for People with Disabilities, because I feel like I need to come in and just do these things, because it's like, until you like speak up, it's like nothing gets done. The accessible apartment I am in now, thank goodness, if it wasn't for my mayor of Cambridge, me going to her, speaking out, advocating like, hey, you know, I have all these medical supplies, I have this, like, I need the space and I need something accessible. Like, hello, we're in a wheelchair. And so it's like, I would say just speak up, maybe go to your governor of your maybe state, because I know I have done that. I went to the State House like 2 weeks ago. So advocate, let your voice be heard. Or if you don't want to go in person, there's also emails. If you go online, and I know for Massachusetts, they have the emails listed for the different like legislations and things like that. So definitely reach out to the city of the mayor of your city, and I'm sure just keep going, because I feel like that's what I had to do, and that's what totally helped, because our voices need to be heard. It's like they don't understand what it's like living with a disability until that in that situation. So it's our job to introduce them to it, because as we know, a lot of people don't know what that means. And another thing I forgot to touch upon is the wiping part. Sorry, I didn't touch back when the question was asked. As far for me, I want to say, I think Ross, I've seen that in your video, the toilet seat that lifts up. I used to have that and my insurance did cover it. That's something I also had to fight for. So please let me know if you need help or anything, because it's like, until we speak up, nothing's gonna get done. But that toilet seat, it was definitely difficult for me to wipe, but it came with a bidet, but that I had to come out the pocket. The insurance didn't cover for the bidet, but that bidet was the best. But as of now, 2 years ago, unfortunately, I had a really bad fall, so which caused me to not even stand up or do pretty much anything. So I'm wheelchair bound and have to use a Hoyer lift to and from. So I made the decision. I talked to my doctors, and I now have a suprapedic catheter in a colostomy bag. And I must say, it is just a game changer. I'm like, now I don't miss even going out when I have to like transfer to use a public restroom and all those things. So it has its pros and cons, but that was the decision I made for myself. I did research, joined like colostomy bag groups, because I'm just like, I'm just pretty much just here sitting in my stuff. I can't get up. I didn't have 24-hour aids. So I'm like, you know what? I want to get this surgery. And I'm glad that the doctors listened and I got that. So that has helped me in my decision. I really felt like it was a game changer.
Yeah, I completely second what KEISHA said there about not being afraid to speak up and ask about these things. As a lot of what I do as an access reviewer is actually contact these companies and say, look, sometimes people are scared to talk about access and disability because they think, we're out to name and shame. But no, like, I'm all about promoting and making improvements. And I think you'd be really surprised when you reach out to these companies.
Yes.
Who actually is willing to work with you. I had a recent example on a real basic level. Was just working with a local restaurant, and we're doing a bit of a collaboration. Obviously the main focus was food, but whilst I was there, I was like, actually, the restaurant could do with some real basic improvements in terms of accessibility, and these can make huge changes for people. Now they have yes, the building itself might have a lip to get in, so it doesn't need to be expensive adaptations. They now have a portable ramp because of this that can now get wheelchair users into their restaurant. They now have a dedicated disabled parking bays right outside the restaurant, which is really important for a lot of people. So small changes and just having that conversation can make a huge difference.
For sure, I think it's always important to touch on the fact that, especially your legislators, they want to hear from you. They want to hear your own personal experiences, because everyone's experiences and lives and disabilities are different. There are so many different forms and definitions of accessibility. So it's important to hear from everyone and their own voices. And I love what Ross said, like every little kind of conversation makes a huge difference for sure. Ross, a lot of people want access to your video, your house tour. Rachel put the link to your TikTok in the chat. I guess that's the best way to kind of make it available for people.
Awesome. Yeah. See, I told you guys, people love a nose around people's house. They really do. But no, I'm the same. Yeah, I've shared that video on sort of Instagram and TikTok. The video itself caused quite a stir online. It went pretty viral at one point there. And I think I don't share these things because the last thing I want it to come across as is as if like you're showing off or anything, because that is exactly not what I'm about. Like, I have received help with funding for certain aspects, and a lot of it I have funded myself. I work really hard for what I do as well, and it's knowing. I don't know. I'm based in the UK, so I don't know what it's like in America with certain systems and councils, but again, it comes back to ask for that help, and if the worst people can do is sometimes say no, and then you can go back to the drawing board. But yeah, sort of sharing that with the aim of raising awareness and showing people that these adaptations can make a big difference. So yeah, you can check it out on socials. I'm sure you can find it on my page.
For sure. Ross, someone also asked who helped you to buy all the equipment in your home and installed it, and how expensive was it, if you're willing to share?
Yeah, of course. Like I said, some of the items I did manage to get some funding support with, such as the electric front door and the kitchen blind. I went through my local council. They've got like a separate budget for sort of like home improvements that they supported me with that, which I was very fortunate to get help with that. Again, I know sometimes it can be a bit of a postcode lottery. It's pure luck sometimes of who's willing to help who, unfortunately. But again, reach out, see if you can get an occupational therapist to support your application, because that will definitely help. And again, a lot of the other stuff, like the tilting kettle, just an Amazon purchase. I'm with KEISHA. Amazon is my best friend. Like, I bought so much stuff on there as well. The bed, again, a lot more expensive. That's something I had to fund myself. But yeah, I guess that's why I push myself to work and do these, take these opportunities to be able to really afford them. Unfortunately, there is no magic answer where we can get. People often assume you get everything for free, and that is absolutely not the case.
Right. And then Amber, in terms of balancing medical care time and then mental health, it's very difficult when medical care takes up so much time. Didn't know if you had any suggestions on how to manage that.
Do. This is a topic that I am super passionate about because I think that living with a disability sometimes feels like managing a part-time job that's just handed to you that you didn't sign up for. Some days you'd really rather not do that part-time job, but it's really necessary. We need to do that part-time job to manage everything. That can be anything from doctor's appointments, managing your care teams, exercising, stretching, pulmonary stuff. Like, I know the list goes on and on and on, and I know how that feels. So, in terms of how to balance that, so that when you do have balance in your life and so that there's room for things like mental health, I recommend some compartmentalization. Okay, so a lot of times the feeling of like it's too much to balance comes from the cognitive load of trying to keep all those things in your mind and thinking about when you're going to do all these things, not necessarily from the time of actually doing them. So, one tip is to just be really good about kind of keeping a to do list. Like, for my disability, for that part time job that I didn't sign up for, here's what I need to do this week, and then I'm going to do it. This is when I'm going to do it. Like, Monday, I'm going to do this. Tuesday, I'll make that call. Wednesday, I'll do that. And once it's planned, put it out of your mind. And that will decrease that cognitive load, that strain of your brain trying to remember them and think about it all the time. So that's the one tip. Plan it, get it out of your head on paper. The other one is to protect fiercely your time for self-care, for mental health. So whatever that looks like for you, plan that time and protect it. So I've just started a new thing where I schedule rest days. It's changing my life. I love it. I don't wait till I get sick to like clear the books, take a day off, tell everyone I can't go to all the things. I'm planning those in advance so that I know I have some days to totally take care of my mind and totally take care of my body. And when people say, hey, can you do this on this day? Or a doctor says, hey, we need to meet with you on that day. I say, no, I'm sorry, I'm unavailable that day. I'm resting. I protect that time fiercely. And it does so much for me to feel like I'm getting what I need, and that the disability isn't robbing me of all that joyful recharging times. So those would be, I think, probably 2 suggestions to start out with. Happy to talk about it more if people have additional questions.
Perfect. Yeah, I know our speakers shared their ways of contacting them best in the chat, so they'd be more than happy to answer any questions. And then if any of the questions are even for LAINIE, we'd be happy to pass those along to her as well. All right, I think we touched on everything. And Kelly, I'll pass it back over to you to wrap up.
Okay. Great. Thanks everyone for your questions and our speakers for their insightful comments. And yeah, thanks to our audience today for joining us. We wanted to start off 2024 already with our next webinar, which is support for caregivers. So we're going to drop the link in the chat to sign up for that. And as always, if you have any questions about our webinar or the programming, reach out to our outreach team. And yeah, we wanted to let you know, save the date for Giving Tuesday. That is November 28th. I hope you are joining CMD and supporting us and helping improve the lives of people living with CMD. And as always, we want to keep the conversation going. So feel free to share with us what you learned today and connect on our socials. It's @CMD, and you can use the hashtags CMD Self-Care or CMD Webinar Series. And yeah, and just share with us what you learned and what you liked today. And thanks everyone for joining us. Have a good one.